see, now we're going to talk a little bit about what exactly you should do in those situations.
Well, there's a lot of different things that can happen. Obviously, here in the South, we live on a day-to-day basis, so snow is a reality.
Mm-hmm.
The world doesn't stop for snow here.
Yeah.
If you do have to be out in it, it's important that you dress warmly. Dress in thin layers, multiple thin layers. Try and stay dry. Make sure to remove any wet clothing. In terms of boots and shoes, make sure that you're using waterproof boots and shoes. Hypothermia is a reality. Anytime that you get the combination of cold, wind, and wet, hypothermia is a possibility. So you just need to be careful when you're out and about.
Another thing that you can do to prepare your home, wherever you live, is to make sure that it's well insulated, to try and block out drafts and cold from coming in. Make sure that the heating equipment in your home, whatever kind of heating, is well maintained, that it's checked and that it's safe to operate.
Now's the time to do that winter maintenance. If you've got a heater that hasn't been turned on, a furnace that hasn't been turned on since last winter, now's the time to call in the workmen to come take a look at it, change those filters, clean everything, clean out the lint, clean out the dust.
Obviously, those are all things you can do now to be ready. Don't wait till the forecast changes and then have to scramble for those things. So everybody can check on those things now. Make sure you're prepared
you want
to dress for the weather, that your home is safe.
And if there is a winter storm, make sure to listen to advisories. Most of the time we're going to be sheltering in our home, but there on the command channel and the school channel, they're going to be announcing any delays, any cancellations of transportation of schools, any late starts. Another thing to keep in mind is to avoid driving if you don't have to. I've heard a lot of stories. This is my first winter here, but I've heard a lot of stories about people just kind of sliding off the road because they're not quite prepared for the ice. One other thing that we wanted to talk about before we go on to our next break is the use of alternate heating sources in your home. So here in Japan, it's very common, especially outposts, to have kerosene heaters. Make sure that you're being safe when you're using them. They are prone to carbon monoxide. They make sure you have a window open. Make sure that you're not leaving those heaters on when you leave the home or when you leave the room.
And every home should, or apartment, whatever, should be equipped with a carbon monoxide monitor that would warn you in advance if there's going to be any kind of a hazard or safety or health risk.
And if you don't have your own in your home here, they are easily buyable on Amazon. They may even have them at the BX. I haven't checked.
Yeah. I'm sure if you called housing, they would let you know. I believe that'd be like something that's required for most homes.
Possibly. I know. I haven't. It's really terrible. I haven't looked around my house here to see if I have one installed. I had one when I was in Italy.
Even if you have one, make sure to check it each month that it's operating. If it's battery powered, make sure that alarm monitor is working for you.
And if you're one of those people who runs cold and likes to use the space heaters, again, make sure you're being safe, keeping things well away from it. They are fire hazards. Make sure you're plugging them directly into the wall, not into power strips and that kind of thing.
I got you. Alrighty. Well, just moving along, we've been talking about what supplies you need and how exactly you should prepare for a winter storm. So what should we do after a storm then?
So after a storm, you just want to make sure that you're staying in you're staying in communication. You know what's going on in the community, what the advisories are. If the power's gone out, if they've set up what we call heating centers, places to go that would have central heat and electricity generators set up. Check on any neighbors that may have special needs, small children that may need additional assistance. Find out if there's anything you can do to help.
And be prepared for snow removal. Be careful that you don't do too much or that it's not so strenuous that you could injure yourself or have other medical problems. But you need to be prepared to recover from that storm so that you can get out and about. You can check on your neighbors. Make sure that people are safe around you. So have the right equipment. Be ready for snow removal.
Alrighty. And then I know the Red Cross has a whole bunch of apps for
We
all
do.
sorts of disasters. So, do you guys have a winter app?
I believe we do have a winter storm safety app. However, what I would recommend is downloading the general preparedness app.
Mhm.
It has all sorts of good information, whether it be for winter safety, earthquakes,
Yeah.
typhoons. The basic things that are going to go into a preparedness kit are the same, but the preparedness app can walk you through some of the additional supplies
Yeah.
you might need. When you get back to the States, the disaster app and the shelter app are really great to have on hand, because if something happens, you have it right there. You can take a look and see where's the nearest shelter. What are the advisories that are active right now for my area? So that we went kind of high tech. The Red Cross went from 0 to 60 in terms of technology.
Yeah.
But they are really some really good apps, and they did a good job with it.
Yeah, I know almost every time I talk about safety of any kind on this show, I
Yeah.
end up bringing up the Red Cross apps because they have a lot of fantastic ones out there. We are going to take a quick music break, though, and then when we come back, we've got some quick vehicle safety tips for you
Yes.
guys to keep in mind this winter. So keep on listening to Eagle 1575.